there saving money, but I was seriously questioning if this was safe to eat. I mean, we're talking a hospital visit waiting to happen. Hello guys, today we're doing a grocery audit with my friend Lois. She is a single mom with a teenage boy, and her biggest problem right now is getting organized.
Sure.
So we're going the organizing route today, showing how we're gonna organize her pantry, how long it takes, what we use to get it organized, so that she can make her cooking more efficient, so that when she's tired from working, she is gonna be organized and able to get dinner quick and easy on the table. We are gonna go and get this pantry organized. Okay, let me walk you through the before pictures now. Lois had this room just for her stockpile, which I'm gonna talk about in just a little bit, but she literally had about 1 foot of floor space that she could walk around in the bottom of her pantry. I think she was just buying groceries and just literally tossing them in there because so overwhelmed and frustrated with it that she was like, man, where do I even put this? Because stuff is just falling all over the place. You can see here on the floor that she's got chips and canned goods and candy and popcorn and rice and just all kinds of stuff just thrown all over the floor. Then on the shelves, you can see she's got mixed in with her canned goods. She's got salad dressings mixed in with pumpkin, mixed in with MRE rations for emergency stockpile type food, and cake mixes. And then the next shelf, she's got hot sauces and pineapple and hamburger helper and canned soup and baking soda all mixed together. Now her teas were actually pretty organized, even though she has a whole lot of them. Now this is a view as you just walk in right beside the door. You can see she literally has nowhere to put anything. Double and triple stacking stuff. Not in a good way though. I mean, it is just falling all over the place. And then on the top shelf, which she can't even reach without a stool, she does have her longer term food, but even with that, she still doesn't have it organized where all like items are together. Like she had some syrups that should have gone up there, but we're down on the other shelf. She's got her teas here. She probably had 20 boxes of teas at least. I mean, she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. She had about 25 teas right there alone on top of the tea that we will find a little bit later. And then here's where she's just got stuff thrown. It's kids' parties, candy, her son. You know how it goes when you guys have kids in school. Do you guys remember? Guys, comment and let me know. When we went to school or Valentine's Day or whatever, we got a little bit of candy. But oh my goodness, it's like kids are bringing home a Walmart sack full of candy from Valentine's Day and that type of thing. If you guys have kids who are bringing home massive amounts of candy, let me know we're not the only ones. It's like, I don't know what's been going on the last 15, 20 years at school. It is crazy, the grocery sacks amount of candy that my kids were bringing home from all of these holiday parties. It was absolutely crazy. Guys, we need your help reaching 400,000 subscribers. Would you please hit that subscribe button if you are loving these videos? Give us a thumbs up and a like, and hit that notification bell if you want notices on how to save more money. Okay, so how we're gonna get started is her kitchen table was completely cleared until we walked in the door with all the stuff. But clear your kitchen table first. Then we're gonna use these chairs to help set stuff as we bring it out. So we're gonna get them out of our way, but we're gonna set them, I don't know where we're gonna set them. We're probably gonna set them over here so that we can have as few steps as possible when we're moving stuff in and out. Because part of the reason why people have a problem getting organized is they make way too many steps going in and out and in and out. So you wanna set it up so that you're not taking extra steps that you don't need. I have brought several things to help us get organized. I don't know what we're gonna use yet. I had her send me pictures of her pantry before, and I kind of looked and got a little bit of an idea. Didn't have much luck at the thrift store, so I went scrounging through my garage, and this is what I found. So we will show you what we use as we go through, but I just brought what I could so that I'm not running back and forth to the store grabbing things that I might need. Okay, here's one last look at the before. You can see everything is just totally jumbled all over the place. I will admit, I had a moment of, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? I knew I could do it. I was just like, oh, do I want to do it? No, I didn't want to do it. And this is something that I really want to point out. I was doing this to help my friend because she's my friend. And honestly, for me, it's much easier to organize my friend's house than it is my house. It always is. So you guys, if you have a friend that is willing to help you get this stuff organized, take them up on it. It took us 2.5 hours to do this with me going over there, and it would have probably taken her a few days. I went in, got her organized, and it was done and over with. And she got it off her mind, and she wasn't having to continually think about it, continually feel guilty about it, keep having it processed in her mind every single day when she went in that pantry several times a day. Just get in and get it done. Now, I really didn't mind that much helping my friend, but would I have wanted to do this? No, not necessarily. But that's the way it is with all this stuff. But if you just get it done and be finished with it, it's not really that big of a deal. And honestly, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It looks like it's pretty rough, but once we got going, we were done in 2.5 hours. So this is how we got started. Okay, so Lois, what do you use every single day out of here? Like cereal, oatmeal?
Nothing every day. This is my storage.
So this is your extra stockpile food?
It is.
This isn't, you don't use cereal every day, you don't use oatmeal every day?
I don't keep any of that in here.
None of that in here?
None of it.
All of that's in your kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Oh. So we can just do whatever we want?
Yes, you can.
Wow, okay.
Scary, huh?
No, I think that's great. Okay, all right, we're gonna get started. So what we're gonna do is, I'm not one of those people that goes and clears the whole thing first.
Okay.
Because I don't have energy. So what I do is I clear a section first, and then I just start rearranging stuff as we're in there. Now, I may need to clear more because I wanted to ask you, that's normally how I do it, but you have the shelves from Satan.
I inherited them when I moved in.
So Lois is renting, so we're not going to do anything permanent, but my question is, would you like these lined so that your stuff isn't falling through, or are you okay with the way they are?
I think I'm okay with the way they are. I don't really have anything small that falls through.
You don't?
But if you think that we see a need, then let's do it.
I say the less work, the better. But if you have small stuff falling through like this, that can be put in a box. It's not a big deal. But if you just had like this kind of stuff, just always, oh, I want to try some of this. Oh, man. That stuff right there.
There's root beer flavoring.
Yes. I wanted to get a couple of flavorings to try my own flavored waters.
Oh, yum.
See if it's cheaper, but I don't know if it's cheaper.
Okay.
Okay, so then we will not line them if you're good with them, and we will skip that step. So that will actually save a lot of time then. Okay. Now, I will say, if I would have known that I was going to be doing this pantry, I would have looked for shelf liner at the thrift stores and garage sales before that for a couple of months, but I didn't know I was going to be doing it on this particular day. Well, I didn't know I was going to be doing it quite so soon, actually. And so I might have time to look, but I did go to Walmart and buy the shelf liner. Now it was, I believe, $11. I can't remember if it was 11 or 14. I'll put it up here, and I'll put a link in the description below if you want to buy the same shelf liner. But I specifically bought this because I didn't want to have to cut anything down, and we needed to just really get in there and get done and be finished because we just really didn't have time to be spending all day long organizing the pantry if possible. So if you want to save money, what you can do is cut down cardboard and lay it flat on these wire shelves. That way it's a flat surface, but you're not paying for anything. The other thing you can do is they have these peel and stick floor tiles. I have used these on these types of wire shelves. They are exact 1 foot, and so they fit perfectly on the shelf. I have gotten them at places like the thrift store for $2 for 12 of them. Super cheap, but usually Family Dollar, Dollar General, Walmart, Menards, Home Depot, all of those places have these floor tiles. So if you want something fancier and super easy to wipe down, you could use these floor tiles. You could also, back to the cardboard, you could also cover that in shelf liner paper if you wanted your cardboard to be easy to wipe off. But honestly, for it being free, you could just cut a new piece of cardboard if it gets really bad and put it under there. I mean, how many times does stuff spill in the pantry and it just makes a huge mess? Really not that often. It's usually mostly crumbs that you're cleaning up. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start getting like items together. We're gonna start with this main shelf first and get this section cleared. And then we'll start putting like items together so that she can find and see what she has in stock. What is this?
Coconut.
Oh, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Azure?
What's that?
Is that Azure?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know there was a drop off here. Cool.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Let's set our boxes. Okay. Let's get these boxes here. Let's see. Set these here. This needs to be washed, but I'm not sure I'm using it yet, so I'm gonna set that with Mike's stuff. And this, oops, except the table needs to come together. There. Okay. There. Okay, so we got our table organized so that as I handed her things, she could just stick them in the boxes, the like items together, and then I was just going to put the boxes on the shelf. Now, if you wanted to, you could spray paint these boxes. That's what Mom does sometimes. She spray paints the boxes so they look all pretty. You could cover them with shelf liner or contact paper if you wanted to. That's a cheap, free way to do it. But there is absolutely no reason to go buy anything brand new to organize a pantry. I totally get it. These pantries where they unbox everything and put it in brand new matching containers, that is all nice and pretty, and that is fine. But there is absolutely no reason to waste money, especially when you are paying off debt, to make your pantry all organized and neat like that. I love a pretty pantry. You guys know, you've seen my pantry. I love a pretty pantry, but almost all the stuff I got to organize my pantry was free or close to free. I spent very little. I mean, I can't even imagine I spent less than $10 on containers to organize my pantry. Everything else, I used things I already had. Almost everything I used to organize my pantry was bought at garage sales and thrift stores. Put like items together in boxes so that we can just lift them all in there together. Whoops, first tragedy here. Okay, let's see, hold on. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am handing her all of the baking items first. So the baking powder, the baking soda, the seasonings, the spices, everything she uses for baking, I'm giving her spray oils for like her Pam, that type of thing. I'm handing her all of those first so she can get those like items together and see how many she's going to need.
And then the veg towel. In that little,
This?
yep. And then right
What is
behind, it's a
Vegemite seasoning salt.
best stuff ever on cucumbers with some onion and some sour cream.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like a salt, celery, onion, carrot, parsley, spinach, kelp, dill, lettuce, beetroot, soy, and molasses?
Yum.
Oh my. Okay. Okay, have you guys ever heard of this stuff? I'd never heard of this until Lois told me about it. So now she had a couple boxes, so I'm gonna ask her to give me a teaspoon so I can try it. It looks like pretty interesting seasoning. I don't know, I don't need any more seasonings, but oh my goodness, the way she described it, it sounded like it was really tasty. Let me know if you've ever heard of this stuff.
The green lid is seasoning.
Okay, this is seasoning. Thank you. And more seasoning. Oop. Thank you. Do you consider coconut syrup like syrups or like baking?
I would bake with it.
Bake. Okay, and here's more. Oops, what is garlic for you?
I'll cook with it. Put it in like
Like
spaghetti sauces
seasoning?
and stuff.
Okay. And here's
Mustard.
another seasoning. And baking. Seasoning. Okay, so you can see here she's putting her like items together, all of her yeast, her baking soda, baking powders. I'm going through trying to find them all. This does go much easier if you have 2 people doing it, but you can do it yourself. How would you like this set up? So what would you like to start here? Your baking stuff, your canned goods, your seasonings, your spices, your chips.
I think I would like it right where we start taking things off, because when I'm baking stuff and I run out, I'm already trained to run right from where I'm baking in the kitchen right around to this corner to grab what I need.
Okay. All right. We will do that. Okay. Now, if you are helping a friend get their pantry or their house organized, they have to be involved. This is not your house. This is not your pantry. Now, if they say, I just want you to just go in and go for it, okay, that's fine. Normally, people don't want to do that. And normally, you want them to help because they need to participate in this, first of all, to make decisions on what they want to keep and what they want to get rid of. But secondly, that way they know where things are and where things are going and where you put things and where they put things when they did it. So they don't just come in and they're sitting here thinking, where in the world did my baking soda go? I don't see it anywhere. They can find it fairly easy, but it helps them also, aside from just getting organized, forces them to have the decision-making process be done. They have to make a decision. And frankly, the biggest problem with most people getting organized is just making the decision to just do it, dreading that you think it's going to take way too long to do, when normally it doesn't take near as long as you've been envisioning for the last 6 months or a year, that, oh, I need to get my pantry done. Oh, I need to get my pantry done every day. You waste more mental energy thinking that you need to get it done and, oh, I should get it done, than if you would just get in there and get it done. Ideally, okay, Lois is vertically challenged. Is that how you say it now?
I am.
How do you say it now? I don't know.
I'm short.
Lois is short. So she has a problem that everything up here, she has to use a stool to reach. Now, ideally, what I would do is put a shelf here, and then a shelf here, and then a shelf here. But since she's renting, we're not going to go in and build a whole bunch of shelves for her or whatever. So we're going to make do with what we have. And I brought some boxes that we might be able to double stack stuff on, and that way we can get some vertical space without having to put permanent fixtures in, okay, and spend a lot of money, okay? All right, so baking stuff here, so then let's get this stuff out. Okay, let's bring, all right, let me see the baking boxes. What do we got here? Let's bring that one. One. All right, now is this in a good order for you to see everything and find it all and know you've got it? Let's see, I'm going to set that back there just so we can get vertical a little bit. And then,
Actually, can I flip this one around?
yep.
That way we can put the tall stuff in the
Yeah.
back.
I just didn't want to drop it.
Yep, I appreciate that.
Okay, now, Let's see, we've got Jell-O's. What is this? Okay, we're gonna stack that there. And let's see. So you've got that. Do you care if you put baking and savory and sweet together?
Doesn't matter.
Or it doesn't matter to you? Okay. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is actually move this around. So that. Okay, now don't be afraid to move things around if they don't work. The first box had shorter items than the second box, so I flipped them around so that I didn't have to move everything in the boxes. And that's the beauty of using these little boxes. That's why Mom loves them so much, because you can just lift the whole thing up and put them back in without having to unload every single thing. Now, you may be saying, Tara, why are you already putting stuff back in there? You haven't even hardly touched the pantry for getting rid of stuff. No, I haven't, but I already knew that this was going here, and this will help me visually see how much space I have, how much space I need, and how much space is left over to put the next items on that shelf. So you want to be able to see, you want your tall stuff at the back and see towards the front. So what I'm doing is I am stacking as much as possible and taking up as much space as possible. So like I turn these the other way so that now I have a little bit more space right here that I can put something. What? I don't know yet, but we'll figure that out. Okay. Okay, now let's put all of these in a box. Steer for a minute. You may.
I want to.
That's true. Is it really optional? That's what we want to know.
Something if you want. Now, even though all these rice could go by themselves on the shelf, I put them in a box just once again so that she can easily lift them in and out if she needed to move something, if we needed to double stack. Because I was pretty sure before I even started that we were going to have to be double stacking some things, because really it just wasn't reasonable to think that she was going to have enough room in this pantry with all of the stuff that she had. I just could visually see that. And so that way, all of her rice could just be lifted at once without having to move a whole bunch of boxes if she needed to shift things around. Okay. All right. So we've got this far, or this organized so far. So she said she uses the baking stuff all the time. So she just wants to get in and out. So we put the baking stuff here first. Then this is more baking stuff. Then as she stockpiles, she can just pull these forward and put more back, or she can just add them to the front. These aren't that old, so she would probably be, yeah, you'd probably be fine. Then her son uses the soups and the ramens here. So we put those right here for him all together to get those easy going. Now, a note on expiration dates. Do not throw canned goods out if they are expired. If they are bulging like the picture, or if they're dented, you can throw them out. But canned goods are not expired. That is the best by date. They might lose a little bit of flavor, which I have never had happen. When we moved, let's see, I had soup that was 8 years past the expiration date that we ate, and it was just fine. It's just a suggestion. Now, if it's bulging, that means that the seal has been broken and bacteria has gotten in there and started growing. That's when you don't want to eat it. But if it's perfectly fine like this, see there's no bulges, no nothing. Don't worry about if it's expired. This isn't expired. I'm just saying, if it's expired, don't throw it out. Use it. Put it towards the front and use it first.
Does it matter that that's evaporated milk and not vegetables or something?
No. Cool. No, all your milks, all your canned milks, all your vegetables, all your fruits, all your soups, sauerkrauts, applesauces, all those types of things, pickles, those are fine.
Okay, now I am going to throw out there that I do buy case lots from Ridley's, and I did have a can of mushrooms that I opened and used in scrambled eggs a few days ago. they tasted very metallic. So I don't know
Really?
if I'll be able to use all those. I'm going to try them again.
Oh,
and
that's,
see.
I've never had that happen.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
Are they expired?
Yes.
How expired?
I don't know. We'll look soon.
Well, it couldn't be more than 3 years because you've been here 3 years. Huh.
Could be, but we'll see.
Interesting. I've never had that happen.
Yeah, only with the mushrooms, the only thing I've ever had problems with.
Okay. Well, and here's the thing. If it smells bad or tastes bad, just throw it out. But at least try it.
Absolutely.
Don't just dump it without trying it. You're not going to get food poisoning from putting it in your mouth and tasting that it tastes awful. Just spit it out and you'll be fine. So anyway, at least you're not wasting money. I'm going to stop here real quick because later on, we found a huge amount of coconut milk and a huge amount of mushrooms. And so she said, Tara, do you want these? I'm not going to eat all these. I said, oh, sure. So I brought them home. And Mike used the coconut milk in his coffee. And he said, what is this coconut milk supposed to taste like? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, it's got a really funky taste. I said, well, put some on a spoon and let me taste it. So I tasted it. And it had a funky metallic taste. And I was like, what in the world? I have never, ever, ever had a canned good have a funky metallic taste like that before. And it was the same description that Lois had just said about her mushrooms. And I was like, what is going on? So I called Lois and I said, okay, we just had the same thing happen. You did something that caused this to happen to your canned goods. I said, did you store them in a particular way or I said, it has to be some way you stored them. I said, did you have them in a garage or maybe a shed outside or maybe an unheated garage where the temperature was fluctuating? She said, actually in my last house, I stored all of my canned goods in the garage. We get this question all the time. Can I put my canned goods in the garage? Because I have literally nowhere else to store them. That's the only place I can put them. So is it okay to put them in the garage? My answer now is no. If you have a heated garage where your temperature stays fairly even, yes, you can do that. My grandmother did that in Colorado, but they had a heated garage and it stayed on all winter. So that garage stayed an even 50, 60 degrees all the time, which is perfectly fine. But for Lois here in Wyoming, her garage was fluctuating between 110 degrees in the summer, going down to negative 20 in the winter. And that fluctuation hurt her canned goods taste like big time. So the answer is no. Do not store any of your canned goods in the garage unless it is a heated garage and you keep a constant temperature all the time. So we ended up having to throw out 3 or 4 cases because they tasted so bad. Next, we're gonna go on to the canned goods. Okay, so my next question is, do you guys eat chips and that kind of stuff on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay, so we want to put those here.
Okay.
Because you want whatever you use the most frequently at the closest to the door.
Okay.
And then your canned goods, how often do you use those?
Depends
like every day?
Depends upon what I'm making. So several times a week.
Several times a week?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's see how much chips and stuff you have, and then we will move on to the canned. So we moved her son's ramen and everything up here because we use this.
Yeah.
They use this every single day. And her other baking stuff, she uses it very rarely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put all the chips and crackers and snacky stuff here, and then baking, and then we're gonna move into canned goods over here.
Canned goods over here?
Yep. And probably up here also. So, okay, that's how we're setting it up so she can use the most frequently used items are at the front, and you're not digging and dumping everything, getting the most frequently used stuff. Okay? Okay, here's a tip. When you have things like your popcorn, rip the tops off. I hope Lois is okay with this. I didn't ask her permission. I try to ask for everything, but I really wanted to show this. So now they can just grab one out. They're not fiddling with making sure that it's closed all the time, and it has a container to keep it in. And you can do it like this or like this, however you want. I want to set more stuff on top, possibly. We'll see. So, take the flaps off if you have stuff like your popcorn. She got these for case lot sale, I assume, probably.
Yep.
All right. You know how much you paid for them?
I don't.
I'm just curious.
It's been a year or two ago.
Okay. So I take off the flaps and then store them all in here. But Dining on a Dime cookbook. You do not need to buy ranch dressing because Dining on a Dime cookbook has homemade ranch dressing for pennies. So she probably paid $1 or so for these, which is what they run, but you can make it for about 10 cents out of the cookbook. Woohoo! I will show you how to do that right now. Good savings, huh? Okay, today I'm making Dining on a Dime Cookbook Volume 1, page 207, ranch dressing right there. This is super easy. Now, I make this in large batches. And so then I'll just store it in something like this and then an old one. And then when I need it, I just use it. So I quadrupled 10 times, however many you want to do for the recipe. I don't have onion flakes at the moment, so I'm leaving those out. I'm just gonna put everything else in. My oregano. The recipe for this is in the description below. My onion powder. My garlic powder. My parsley. And paprika. And salt and pepper and cayenne pepper. Now this is just for one batch, so what I'll do is add a cup of mayonnaise and a cup of buttermilk, or you could mix it in 2 cups of sour cream, 2 cups of mayonnaise. You could do 1 cup of mayonnaise and 1 cup of full fat milk if you want. However you want to do it, but that is it. This costs you about probably 10-15 cents for the same packet that's $1 in the store. Okay, so Lois has a lot of teas. Like, she makes me look like I don't even drink tea at all. This whole box is tea and all of this is tea, but she's not drinking it all at once. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mark it and put it up here out of the way, so then it's in the furthest away spot, but she still has it for when, if she needs it. And the label is out so we can see it. We got a box of candy here, collection. My goodness, guys, are we the only ones with kids who just keep getting candy and more candy? It's crazy. Oh my goodness. You got Halloween parties, you got Thanksgiving, or I mean not Thanksgiving, Valentine's and Christmas, and oh brother. Okay, so I took off all of these so that we're not tripping on flaps. Okay, and we're gonna put this in the corner. Now, these are canned goods. Some of these are pretty old, 2011. Now, if it was me, I probably wouldn't risk it, but she wants to risk it, which is totally fine. So we have her canned goods all back here. And we brought the oldest ones forward so she can start using those ones first. Okay, we're gonna stop right here for just a minute. So, we actually later found canned goods from 2007. I know we are saving money, but I was seriously questioning if this was safe to eat. I mean, we're talking a hospital visit waiting to happen, is what I'm thinking here. We found canned goods from 2007, was the oldest one, 2011. They were her mom's canned goods that she had canned back then. And I will tell you, she didn't say this, but I kind of suspect a little bit. There's a little bit of sentimentality. I don't know how you say it. There's a little bit of sentiment here that her mom did these. She didn't really throw them away. Although she did say that when they cleared out her mom's house, they did get rid of a whole bunch. So maybe I could be wrong on that. But for me, I don't really think it's worth the risk. I mean, she had about $100, but even if she had $200 worth of home canned goods that she would have to replace with store-bought goods or recan fresh for herself, is it worth $200 risk for botulism and ending up in the hospital with tens of thousands of dollars of hospital bills from food poisoning? Even if it was $200, it would cost her that much just to go to the doctor. If it was just a doctor visit, not just ending up in the emergency room with food poisoning. I was kind of like, okay, if she wants to keep it, that's fine. And then later I was talking to her and I was really questioning. I was like, you know, Lois, I just don't know that you should probably eat these. I think maybe you should just go ahead and dump all of them and just restockpile later. Her health insurance is awful. So even if she had good health insurance though, most deductibles are like $1,000. That's still not even close to being worth it. So I talked to her and she said, yeah, you're probably right. And she said that she was going to go ahead and dump them. You can keep the jars and reuse the jars later. After she agreed to do that, I was still questioning myself. And I was like, well, I don't know. Because she kept saying, unless the tomato seeds have turned black, then they're fine. And I was sitting here thinking, but if the seals aren't broken, it should be okay to eat. So I did a little bit of research, and here's what the FDA has to say. And so then you can decide for yourself whether you want to eat older home canned foods. And I'm going to skip through some stuff and just give you the highlights, but it says, we do recommend using within a year for best quality, but that does not indicate that you should throw anything out that's over a year old. It just means that would be the best quality. Beyond that, just like commercially canned foods, you might start to see some quality deterioration. So basically what they're saying is it's perfectly safe to eat. You're not going to get food poisoning, but it may not taste that great. Then it says, we cannot give an exact date for expiration. Therefore, if the food was processed safely, then it shows no sign of spoilage. Until that vacuum seal is broken, there should be no way it becomes contaminated or unsafe. The issue then is that foods that are kept too long is quality deterioration. You can get a real darkening of color of many foods, like she said. All these extended quality changes over time can start to interfere with our ability to detect spoilage, though it may not be actual spoilage. So the gist of what they're saying here is they can start turning colors, but then you don't know if it's from age and the food's just deteriorating, or if it's from actual spoilage. Then you have botulism, which causes food poisoning. Basically, the USDA, excuse me, not the FDA, the USDA. Basically, the USDA says that a year, give or take a couple of years, is when you should eat up those foods if possible. But just understand, you could be taking a risk once they start changing colors and that type of thing. So you can do what you want. That's what the USDA says. I don't know. Personally, for me, I don't know if it's the Holy Spirit prompting me or what, but I really feel like Lois should throw out those foods. And you know what, guys? Sometimes we need to listen. God gives us these promptings from the Holy Spirit and we're like, oh, it's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. And then we end up with food poisoning. God is me. I don't know. I shouldn't be saying God's telling me to throw out Lois's food, but I felt very strongly that she should throw out this food and not eat it for their own safety. I don't have a problem eating canned foods past the expiration date. And just like my story from storing it in the garage, yeah, it did affect the taste, but she probably wouldn't have gotten food poisoning. It just affected the taste. So it's up to her. For me personally, even if it's $200 worth of home canned goods, it's not worth food poisoning. You guys can make the decision for yourself. I would be curious, guys, comment and let me know what's the oldest canned food, even home canned food, that you have eaten. I'd be curious to know. The oldest that I've eaten past the expiration date is 8 years. I had some canned tomatoes. When we moved to this house, I found them had fallen back. Normally I rotate through everything pretty quick, but It was perfectly fine. All right, and I do want to show you here. You guys, look at this pumpkin I just got at the store. I thought there was something on the side, and I thought that I had spilled something on it because the can was fully intact, or it looked like it was fully intact. I opened this pumpkin and look at this. Oh my goodness, it was all I could do to not throw up. But this is what spoiled food in the can looks like. And let me tell you, just talking about it, I want to throw up. Oh my word. But what we discovered was this can was dented at the manufacturer and the seal was broken. And then the label was put on and hid the defect. And then I picked it up thinking it was fine and it spoiled. So that was very interesting because I know this was dented at the factory because the label is perfectly intact. There's no creases, there's nothing. If it would have been dented afterwards, the label would have had a crease in it where this big dent is. So this is what canned food looks like. I couldn't believe it. Just after I had done this all with Lois, I came across this in my own pantry. It was totally crazy. Of course, I'm taking this back to Walmart and going to have them exchange it for a fresh one.
Oh, whoa, it's coming along nicely.
Are we getting close?
Yeah, it's looking nice.
Okay, until we realized half the food is on the table still.
Whoops. Houston, we have a problem.
We shall overcome.
Okay.
All right, so we need to build shelves to the ceiling?
Yeah. No, this is where boxes come in. Okay. Those rices and everything over here, right there, are those something you use all the time?
Regularly.
Regularly, okay.
I probably use these more than I use the pastas and the rice.
Okay. So, let's see how we should arrange this. If they're on the floor, is that a problem?
Nope.
Okay, Hemi, white box, and the rices. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make our own shelving here. And let's see, will this, yeah, okay. Let's see, sit on the floor right there. I guess I should have got the box knife. I brought the box knife. Did we bring it in?
I think I might have one.
Do you? Yeah, why don't we grab it?
Did you bring one from the house?
Yeah.
It's probably in the truck then.
Okay.
Yes.
This is a get it together, Lois moment.
No.
Now, Lois is not allowed to go grocery shopping until Christmas. This is September. You can buy fresh fruits and milk and vegetables.
Thank you.
Fresh fruits, vegetables. But you have 2 huge freezers and this huge pantry. I believe in stockpiling, but you're trying to get some stuff paid off. So, you've got 3 weeks worth of chips alone here.
And they will last at least that long.
So I would say no grocery shopping at least until Christmas.
Okay.
That'll give you, do you know about how much you were spending on groceries?
I don't.
Give or take? So let's say she was spending $400 a month on groceries. I'm just throwing something out there. Then there's $1,200 right there that you're able to get some stuff paid off.
Awesome.
Okay, now we got to figure out where to put the rest of the stuff. Okay, so here's a little tip. Paper bags and stuff are very hard to come by now, so I keep them also. But what I do is open one, and then I just stack them all folded in here, just like so. And then now I do them from largest to smallest. You don't have to, but then I can see what size I have and what size I need, and then it can just sit on a counter or on top of something, and then I can just grab them when I need them. Now these are extra bags she had, so we're going to put those in there. And what are these? These are extra freezer bags.
But you'll notice how old they are.
I know.
Are they worth keeping?
Well, if you use them, they're worth it. But if you don't use them,
I haven't.
I would use them. Would you feel better if I took them?
Then they should go to your house.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will take them. Okay, so now we're going to find a spot for these. Here's more. Except, I think, do these need to be in the pantry?
No. I can go someplace else.
Let's see. Do you use them all the time? I don't know when she opens the freezer, though, if that will hit. But otherwise, I don't know. Is this going to be too out of the way?
No, I have an Austin.
Okay. That'll be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Wow, that only took, what time is it?
I don't know.
45? So 2.5 hours? 3 hours?
I think it was 3. Yeah.
Because you're vertically challenged, what I would do is put a nail in the wall right here. If your landlord lets you put nails up, and then hang it.
Okay.
So you're not tripping over it and it's right there all the time.
Okay.
Do you have a nail in the wall? Or a nail to put in or can you put nails in the wall?
I probably can.
Or
I haven't yet. I haven't even asked, but I can.
A command hook, or do you have a command hook?
I don't, but I can get one.
Okay. So that's what I would do, is hang that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Lois also has 2 huge chest freezers, the extra large size, not just the little ones. She's got 2 great big freezers. Lois has a lot in her. Everybody has the bananas.
Because they're good for smoothies.
I know.
And banana bread.
I'm so proud of everybody saving their bananas and not throwing them away. I think that's great. Okay, so she just recently went and helped butcher a cow. And so because of that, she got a whole bunch of meat. So she has plenty of meat. When I say she doesn't need to go grocery shopping, I mean she really doesn't. She's got plenty of meat. Oh, I see what's being hidden here. Oh,
Absolutely.
nobody saw that.
It's emergency medicinal stash.
It is.
Your emergency medicinal stash. So I think she's great here. Now, she also has another freezer. So, really, they could probably go 6 months without buying food. But she likes to keep a stockpile for the same reason I do. So, I'm totally good with this. I mean, I would go ahead. Oh my goodness.
2 years.
More medicinal.
They've been in there for
They've
2
been
years.
in there for 2 years. Well, good for you. I would have had them all gone.
I was going to make cookies 2 years ago and never got done. So, yeah, they've been
So-
at the very bottom for a
So
long
now we know
time.
what we're getting for Christmas
That's
cookies.
Yes, you are.
All right, so this is all full of meat also. I am okay with that. What I would do is get this freezer used up, get it defrosted, and then start refilling it with
Newer
meat
stuff.
that's on stale.
Okay.
And just pick one freezer or the other, get it defrosted, and then when it's defrosted, go get fresh stuff. Because so if you guys don't know, freezers do not run as efficient when they have a coating of ice on it. This isn't real bad. I mean, I've seen ice like this. So this is, I mean, you probably did this, what, 6 months ago maybe? Yeah. So this isn't really that bad. I try to defrost mine once a year or every 6 months if I happen to be able to do it. But when you have 2 freezers, you need to rotate so that you can make sure one gets defrosted and then the other one doesn't. So that's a big tip there for energy savings. Before we get to the before and afters, here's my tip for Lois. Do not buy anything at the grocery store. Maybe milk and fruits and vegetables. Although I will give her right now, this week, we are having our case lot sale. So I did give her permission to go rebuy the mushrooms and the coconut milk if she wanted on case lot right now because she had to throw it out. So it is cheaper right now. But other than those things, I told her not to buy anything at least until Christmas. Now, frankly, she could go 6 to 9 months without buying anything. She really could. And honestly, I really think she should get some of this food used up. And then when the case lot sales come back in, I believe it's March or April again, then she can restock with fresh and get all the fresh used up. We did move all of the oldest canned goods from the back to the front. So she is going to be using all of those first. She is not going to be buying any meat. She got, I think, a half a cow, so she doesn't need any more meat for many, many months. She's like me. She feels comfortable having a stocked pantry. She has lived in Wyoming for a good portion of her life, then in Alaska, so that she knows you have to have a stocked pantry living in harsh climates like this. You never know when a blizzard is going to hit us and we can't get semis in. Our roads were closed for 60 days between October and April last year. 60 days. That's a lot. And you never know when it could go for a week or two. So both, I agree with her to have a stocked pantry, but at the same time, you have to be using that pantry and rotating the food out of there. All right, we are going to get to the before and afters now so you guys can see the final transformation. So we're gonna go through and show everything that we did in the pantry. We started at 11, it's 1:45. I don't think 2 hours and 45 minutes is awful. Agreed. And Lois helped me, but I would say probably if this was a one-person job, I would say 4 hours maybe total, probably. So I didn't think it was too bad. Okay, so we're gonna go through and talk how we organize this. So this is all of her extra paper goods right here. This is extra baking supplies, specialty soup mixes for like Christmas and that kind of thing, canning supplies. She doesn't use the beans that often, so she had left those there. She has extra teas, extra coconut milk. What did you say this stuff in the jar was?
That, I think, is more of the parched corn.
Parched corn. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of parched corn, anybody? I have. What do you use parched corn for?
Okay, we're going to make some next time.
I thought it was granola.
Okay, I don't know. So somebody comment and tell me what you use parched corn for. I've never ever heard of that in my life.
Okay, we're going to make
That's a
some
new one
for
on
you.
me. Okay, so then we've got her syrups. She does not use syrup very often, so we have that there. Her nuts, her prepper, her 3 prepper foods. Take those camping or something.
Yes.
Okay. Then over here, these are all the teas that she's drinking on a regular basis. We put the rest up there out of the way. They don't eat cereal very often, so this is just an extra cereal. This is all her canned meats. This is her green beans. I put the ones that she needs to eat first at the front, and then all the newer ones at the back. This is all her Mexican food. And then we've got her soups. We have a couple of miscellaneous things like sauerkraut and the breadcrumbs. Her soups, her ramen, and then we have our baking stuff. Now, I don't normally like to stack like this, but, oh my goodness, more raisins. Okay. Lois, you cannot buy more raisins.
It's a deal.
No more raisins, Lois.
For the rest of my life.
Actually, this really isn't that bad. I mean, I'm harassing her because she's my friend, but it's really, I was actually surprised that it took, I mean, I thought we'd be here all day, so it really isn't that bad. Then she's got all of her spices and her baking stuff and her cocoa. Now, guys, remember, this is her extra because she has most of the stuff that she uses every day, like her spices and stuff, in her kitchen. Now, what I would do is I would not buy this, and I would only buy these because these take up so much less space. When you have the bouillon cubes, then, I mean, it's the same thing. They just add water to those. So,
isn't it cheaper to buy the cubes too?
Yeah, it's cheaper too. All right, now, down here, she did not know she had so many chips, so she's not buying chips for a month or so. And How I do the chips is I buy 1 bag of chips for my boys a week. When it's gone, it's gone. I don't go and buy more, so they have to figure out something else if they're gonna want to eat more. Then in here we put our crackers. I don't know if this is gonna work for her or not. And the whole pantry may or may not work for her, and she'll just have to keep arranging stuff so that they're more convenient for her as she gets, as she gets new groceries in. But if it doesn't work, she can just take it out and do something else. But this is just a box, a sturdy box that our Bibles come in. And I made a second, so to speak, shelf up here. Some of these things she's going to get used up and not buy again. Here's the stack of raisins, popcorn, more popcorn, her ranch dips, all of her baking stuff, her macaroni and cheeses. They don't use those very often. Oops, the pickles. Okay, we forgot we were going to put the pickles. So I think I'm going to put the pickles up here so that she can find all of her pickles and olives easier. Oh man, I might come shopping at your place. Those look pretty good.
Which ones?
These stuffed green jalapeno olives.
The best thing for salads ever.
Oh, do you use them on salads?
Yeah, I cut them up.
Oh,
On
yum.
my salad.
Okay, so we got all these. So now down here we have more popcorn, more canned goods that she wants to use up, more jelly she wants to use up, her corn, her pumpkins. I pulled all these to the front. She thought she had 2 or 3 pumpkins, and we ended up with 7. So this is why, guys, you want to get it organized so you're not just rebuying stuff thinking you don't have it. All of her fruits, her crushed tomatoes she hardly uses ever, tomato sauce over there. Then, okay, now down here, we've got more canned goods over here underneath. And, oh, I didn't do this side. These are sodas for when she has company, she said. And this is her Reachy thing because she is vertically challenged that we're going to hang on the wall. Candy, her son collects from all of the parties at school.
Wow.
Mine has the same collection. Jack never eats his candy hardly. I mean, he rarely eats it. Okay, then in the corner I have her honey. That is her prepper honey that she uses. Now, honey will last forever. It's crystallized. It's not going to matter. You can just heat it up and then it will turn back into liquid form again. Then here are her extra canned goods. So she has a lot of evaporated milk up here and a lot of tomato soup up here. So we left those down on the bottom and stacked them to get them out of the way, and then put the peanut butter and the pickles that she'll use more often on top, okay? Now, since she's shorter, she was okay with putting her rice down there. Those are extra evaporated milks. And then we made it a little shelf here with the box again for her s'more stuff. And then this is all of her pasta. She's not buying pasta for 2 or 3 years. Not really. But now she can see all the pasta she has and just start getting it used up. Then these are all of her extra sauces, ones that she got on sale or whatever. And then her flour and her oils that she uses on a regular basis. Okay, I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of hard to tell, but we significantly cleared out the floor. And I tried to make sure nothing, I know the tomato soups are sticking out just a little bit, but I tried to make sure everything was even with the shelves so they can just walk in and pick what they need off the shelf without tripping over stuff. If those tomato soups are in the way, she can move them closer to the back corner. But you want to keep your floor as clear as possible when you have this sort of a pantry, because that's where stuff starts falling and tripping and then you get frustrated. Also, what I would probably do is I would probably put, if I owned the house, well, you could do this with a shelf for rental, but I would put here, if I owned this house or was going to use this house, I would put like a really short 6-inch shelf from here to here, from the floor up to here, and I would put all my canned goods on it. And then your canned goods aren't stacked and falling, but you've got the shelf. So in an ideal situation, that's something that I would do. I think she has plenty of space, so it's fine. But if you had a larger family or something, I would even utilize this space with a tiny 6-inch shelf and put all my canned goods on here so you can reach them without them falling over. How does it make you feel?
I feel enlightened.
On a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, how does your pantry make you feel now?
I would say I'm probably about a 10 now.
How
I can
did-
find all kinds of things.
What
and it
number
was,
before were you?
I don't know if there was a number, but the description was scurry and grab it and get out before something falls. Seriously.
Now,
You saw the before.
do you feel a little bit better though now that everything's organized? Do you
Yes.
feel like you could get in easier? You'll be
Yeah.
able to cook quicker because you're not worrying about stuff falling on you. You
Right.
can find it. And now you don't need to go grocery shopping.
Exactly.
So for Lois, well, actually we're actually noticing a trend in our grocery. You're not the only one. We're noticing a trend with our grocery audits is people are buying and buying and buying because it's a good deal or it's on sale or they're stockpiling, but they're not using it. They're just continually rebuying it. The point of having a stockpile like this is to use it so that like now she is trying to get some stuff paid off, so she's going to be eating from her pantry to get that stuff going quicker. And then when Thanksgiving and Christmas comes around and the sales are happening, you're going to be buying it on sale instead of paying full price for it again. So,
True.
I don't know. I feel really good. It only took us 2.5 hours. You know, I don't think that was 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours.
I agree.
And that was with filming too. So we probably could have been done in 2 hours if we weren't filming.
Agreed.
So, all right.
I appreciate the help. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Both. Very much.
But does it feel like a relief is off your shoulders?
Yes.
The
Yep.
sky is lightened. The world is all as it can be again. Guys, go watch this video next. And if you would like a grocery audit, please go to the link in the description below. Visit us at livingonadime.com and we will see you guys next time.